All right, this is episode 4 of Comics, the podcast where me and my mom talk about our comic collection. In this episode, we're starting off with a Marvel comic, Venom the Badness, issue 1. Ultra cool first issue.
Pretty cool. Textured cover.
If you couldn't tell from the drawing, Juggernaut will be inside of this comic.
Jerkanaut.
I like how textured it is, the cover. You might not be able to tell on camera, but it is three-dimensional, or it's at least slightly higher than the rest of the cover.
Yeah, I like it.
This is part of a 3-part mini-series, and just in case you couldn't tell, they tell you it's ultra cool first issue. I feel like maybe it was a cost-cutting measure to. We can say if we don't make this part bumpy, we can save like $3 million or something.
Doubtful.
This is our first 90s comic.
Wow. What is that? It's not the WE.
This is WWF, I think, before they had to change the name.
Ah.
A good old wrestling game. I'm not sure if I ever played that one. The Hulkster. Looking shiny. And
red
insane.
and shiny.
He looks like he has hot dog skin.
He's made out of hot dogs.
Well, wouldn't you be if you could? Macho Man Randy Savage is made out of Slim Jim.
Of course.
You know, this art style, I think, was super cool at the time. It was very different, and it hasn't aged super well, but people like to make fun of this era, I think, of comics because, like, look at all these bumpy, like, side muscles he's got going on. It's very over the top.
Yeah.
But I've come to appreciate it. It's unique, if anything. It's very stylized.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole idea of this one, they kind of start with these word bubbles. The whole premise of this miniseries is that Venom is going to further mutate because he's exposed to some chemicals, but it's also exploring the dynamic between him and his
Eddie Brock?
His Venom symbiote. You believe your bonding is symbiotic. There is no such thing as true symbiosis. There is only usury. One of the two always has the advantage. So it's I guess the ongoing theme in this one is who's really in control, who really calls the shots, Eddie Brock or Venom. And this is all in his head. He's dreaming. I guess he kind of talks to the symbiote when he's sleeping. This is what I like. One thing that really plants this in a different era than the comics we've been reading from the 80s is it's very socially conscious. This guy's talking about radioactive waste being dumped by this company, and it's kind of a theme throughout it is like corporate greed and apathy about their effects in the world. That kind of makes it seem a lot more contemporary.
Right.
But I love it. It starts where Eddie's sleeping in his apartment and he's woken up, I think in the middle of the night, by the looks of it, by this guy who's just screaming in the streets. Radioactive waste by the ton. Nail polish. Those little plastic things your burgers come in. Aerosol cans. Where do you think this stuff goes? Outer space? No, it all ends up in some pit, breeding and brewing and scheming our deaths. Right here in San Francisco, there's a company that poisoned me with their experimental mercury. Who are they? Evil Scarmore. That's who. That's the name of the company. And so he starts getting beaten up. I like how malformed this little word bubble is. Help! Oh God, don't kill me. I admire his bravery for blowing the whistle on this corporation, but I don't know if going out into the city streets late at night and proclaiming it for the whole block to hear is the most effective way to get your message out. I guess it's nice that we have the internet now. They didn't have that back then.
But it kind of foreshadows, like, who is he really?
Yeah, what if he's really hired by Scarmore to see who's sympathetic to the cause and then betray them? I don't know. It looks like he's wearing like a basketball jersey or something. There's like a seam.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of weird looking.
Yeah, and there's like wrinkles here.
He is so stylized and his proportions change so much. Sometimes his ribs are really big, like his sides. And sometimes it's his back muscles that are emphasized.
That makes me a little uncomfortable.
His butt. He's got really thick thighs, too. Like, he has no calves, almost. It's just, like, all thigh. I guess you just can't see it. It's off panel. But over here, it's just this bulge of thigh.
Yeah.
everything's so wide and thick. Like his arms, there's no narrow points on his body anywhere.
Except for his feet. It goes right down to a point.
He'll stab you with them if he needs to. So he comes out to rescue the whistleblower guy. And, you know, compare this to the dialogue from some of the old comics where they're like, Jehoshaphat, he says, we'll spin your spine till it corkscrews your head. And for you, we'll punch your bladder up the back of your throat. Ew. This is what I was reading when I was a kid. Punch your bladder right up through your throat. And I will say that this artist, I should have started with that. Let's see, it's Kelly Jones on art, and Ann Nesenti is the writer. John Beatty does inks. Kelly Jones does a great job with the stylized Venom. I like how exaggerated the eyes.
The
like,
eyes
they come up for this big curve sometimes, and sometimes it straightens out. But not so great as like a realistic human face artist. I don't know. Maybe it's just the size. It's hard to draw a face in that detail. From
and I think it's stylized. You know, it's very like pre-zombie.
Yeah, a lot of the people's eyes are in shadow, and it gives it this kind of dark.
Yeah. I kind of like it.
Or something. Yeah, it's like noirish. Anyway, he meets the whistleblower who thanks him, as well as Beck, who is working with the homeless, the lady that helps the homeless, and she also does work trying to bust that Scarmore company. Oh, you're Abby Rubin, are you? What of it? It's you I've been looking for. So the whistleblower and this girl connect here, and she's gonna try to help him raise awareness about that. I love this thought bubble, because Venom really likes this girl, and he's like, we'd like to help you. Would you? He has a reputation for extreme violence. And she's like baring her teeth, like gritting them. It's really weird. They're both very toothy. That's another thing that's so fun about the Venom characters, how many little narrow teeth. It's like, do his teeth change? Like, he's got teeth underneath the teeth of the suit? Is that what's going on? Or does the suit just, like, build on his existing teeth and make them crazier?
Yeah.
And she's got a soft spot for, like, troubled characters, anti-heroes like Eddie Brock. Why is it the bigger the problems, the more I want to save them?
Oh, cripes.
Aren't you scared of me? Should I be? Nah. So she doesn't really mind that he's this freakish monster.
Look at like he has no neck whatsoever.
He doesn't need one. He's just got this tumor back here, or whatever that is. When you have that many muscles, you don't even need a neck.
Wow.
Meanwhile, at Scarmore Industries, they're speaking very candidly about the thing, just making sure we understand that they've got toxic chemicals they need to dispose of. I expect plausible deniability. Do you understand? Yes, sir. I guess that was a yes to hiring help. Plausible deniability. I wonder what that means. Oh, well. So they made this guy kind of dumb. Like, he doesn't even know.
Like his eyes, too.
I know. Most eyes are in dark shadow. Look at Tom Cassidy's eyes. It's like he doesn't have any.
That's crazy.
It's a weird angle in the Juggernaut. A weird... And I'm also thinking, Juggernaut, he hangs out in that armor. Like, they're taking a call. He's like, you got to deal with these whistleblowers. So they hire mercenaries, Black Tom Cassidy and Juggernaut. Scarmore does. And it's like, he's not just hanging out as in his regular clothes. He has to wear the Juggernaut stuff all the time.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I put it on when I need it.
Beast wears corduroys and...
Right. I want to see Juggernaut wear corduroys. Do you like sugar babies or Charleston chews or sugar?
Yes, Charleston chews. We used to buy those all the time.
I do like Charleston chews, but I'm not a big sugar babies fan. They're all right.
They will rip your teeth out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I saw all these. These must be invented by dentists to pry the molars out of your gums.
Mm-hmm. Well, our dentist used to. I remember going in for an appointment, and I had like injured a tooth with popcorn, and he's like, "Oh yeah, popcorn makes our boat payments."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can really tell by the colors, and the paper's glossy. The difference between the eras and comics too. I think it makes a lot of these really dark colors possible.
Well, I noticed in the older
Shiny
comic
colors.
books, sometimes it's a little hard to read certain words.
Yeah, it kind
And
of
especially
the newsprint.
bold. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in these shiny ones, gosh, look at the pop.
Oh, and I think this is after the Venom Lethal Protector miniseries. So he, if I recall, he lives underneath San Francisco. There's like a little city he lives in, and he protects them.
Every city has an underground.
And it's weird. He always calls them innocents. He likes to protect the innocents. It's weird because, like, that seems to be the whole thing with Venom. They kind of do this with the characterization of Wolverine sometimes, where they're like willing to bend the rules and get really nasty, or like kill the bad guys, or at least like maim them or something. But like they prize innocence so much that they're willing to go out of line, like further than a
cross
Spider-Man. And I don't
boundaries.
know. That was very popular at this time. I think that kind of thing is still pretty popular. But,
Well, this is also the age of Punisher and
well, that's kind of what I think of Venom. It's like if they made Spider-Man more Punisher-like. That's kind of like what Venom is. He's more motivated by vengeance and darkness and stuff. So they just get to know each other. He said, didn't you have like a normal life before you were controlled by this mullet that you had, this symbiote? And he says, yes, I went through years of higher education. I was a prominent journalist, quotation marks. I think he was a photojournalist, right? He like took pictures.
That's what I thought.
I think that he was like, that's what put him into conflict with Peter Parker originally, I think. So she's like, yeah, it's a little weird that you have this alien on you, but what is it like? And then they start making out, and the symbiote gets excited, and it kind of scares her. That would be freaky.
That would be freaky. That's like the ultimate STD.
This, why does he have such a wrinkly forehead and also just that haircut?
And crosshatch.
Man? Yeah.
He
Spider-Man
wrinkles
webbed him on the forehead, I think. Let's see. X-Men. Now we've got a yellow Wolverine. We had the brown Wolverine last episode. Now we got yellow and blue. I do like both costumes.
I do.
It's funny because Sabretooth has a more classic Wolverine coloring in his suit in this one than Wolverine does.
Oh, he was a tough character to get to like.
I think we might have had one or two of these home videos. The X-Men cartoon that it was on Fox Kids, I think, on TV, and I think I own Night of the Sentinels. I think that's the one where Morph gets blasted by a Sentinel. We think he dies, but he faked his death or something and turned to the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. I don't know if that we bought it, though. I think I might have got it through some kind of, like, Pizza Hut thing or, like something where you send away or something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's see. So he kind of she gets scared by the symbiote. Oh, that whistleblower guy comes back and he says, this might be a different person, actually. It does look similar to me, to the other character. He just pulled out. He's dropping all charges, and he was calling from a hospital, so that means Juggernaut must have gotten to him. He said whatever hit him was more like a truck than a human. I'm scared. Maybe I should pull out too. No, we have to stand together. And so he's like, well, if they're going to beat us up, we'll just beat them up even more. That's the anti-hero solution.
Wow.
And, the nice thing is this new character, this love interest character, is saying, maybe we can do something more subtle than just beating people up. There are subtler ways to protect innocence, Eddie, than to wait for something bad to happen and play bodyguard. So, I don't know. I feel like this one, you could tell, I don't mean to gender stereotype, but you could tell maybe this one was written by a woman because it actually has characters being like, hey, maybe there are systemic issues in the world that are like, you can't just punch them. And Venom's like, I don't know, I won't try to punch it. I love this dream sequence. He's so freakish looking. There's like these red blood cell looking things. And look, he's got like armpit muscles.
Yeah.
Look at his forearm there.
Look
it's
at
like
his hand.
His muscles are like sagging through his skin. It's bizarre.
Look at the size of his hand.
Imagine if your muscles like I just had a forearm that went out to like here.
That's crazy.
I like how grotesque some of this stuff is, though. It's almost like these little carnage things with arms, but I guess it's just the symbiote talking to him. Oh, and then, okay, while he's dreaming, we cut away to all these people disposing of chemicals. Guess it'll just mix in here and be harmless. God. Mutating mercury. I guess this is rotten of me, but a guy's gotta live. At 100 a barrel, the going rate for dumping toxic stuff, I can make 1,000 a night. Who could refuse?
Jeez.
They don't give the polluters that much of a motivation. These corporate guys are just like, yeah, it's either our salaries or we get rid of the waste a bad way. It costs too much to dispose of it safely or something. Mm-hmm. Hey, Frank, every time we do this, you get drunk. Yeah, well, every time we dump this stuff, I hate myself. That's kind of a grotesque dude. He's got some necklines there. So this is all pharmaceuticals, toxic wood shavings, pesticide runoff,
bioengineering waste.
This is where I really started to realize I'm like, this is a different era of comics where they're trying to raise awareness about real life things rather than, and not that they never did that in older comics. There was the Green Arrow, like heroin addiction, awareness thing, but there were the X-Men is kind of about racism or other civil rights issues, but this one's very much like the enemies are actually, there's not like a metaphor for it or something. The way the X-Men is kind of like an analogy or something.
The bad guys are amongst you.
Yeah, exactly. So then we cut. This is actually, I was talking about how mostly reading comics still flows for me from when I was a kid, and it's easy to tell the panel sequence. But here, I think we're cutting between this tiny civil rights law office and this like Richie. These are the corporate people in Tuxedo Park, the Scarmore people. And then there's some kind of press conference, and then it goes back to the Richie people. And I think one of the wealthy corporate people gets served a subpoena. Mr. Charles Evans, president of Scarmore Inc. Yes, summons to appear in court. This must be some mistake. I do like the way they stylize some of the long faces. Yeah. It makes them look more like Weasley or something, some of the villainous characters.
The continuity in the shadows.
It's funny, even the butler guy has like he's got the long Richie dude face. But that very stylized eyes here. Yeah. This person, I like how wrinkly his eye line is there too. It really makes him look irritated.
Yeah, they have a real comic book kind of look.
Her hair is very similar to the Venom color.
Well, blue-black hair, yeah.
So let's see, they're at the law office, and some stranger comes in, and Eddie's like, what's your problem? And he smacks him away. He's like, you didn't know I was Venom, right? So he punches him in his red hair. And turns out, under that trench coat, he also has arms that are thicker than his entire waist.
It's like scales or,
And then he's got his helmet on. They don't even show that. Like, was he...
Oh.
I don't see him holding any... Is that his helmet in this little bag?
Yeah, that's gotta be.
Like, why not just show up in that? If you're going to just burst out of your clothing anyway. It's a good trench coat. You don't want to waste something like that. But, and this is... I don't mean to be a nitpicking nerd here, but you're that evil mutant, Juggernaut. I don't believe Juggernaut was a mutant originally. He uses that gem of Cytorak or something like that he found. It gives him mystical abilities, but I think because he's Professor X's like stepbrother, and I don't think he has the mutant gene. I think his powers come from that helmet that he wears.
You remember more about the Juggernaut than I do.
Well, I did my dissertation in Juggernaut studies. So he starts whooping on Venom, which you would expect. Like, I think the modern... I don't know if it was... I like how he coordinates his belt-looking, like, torso lines with his boots, though.
Oh, yeah. He's got style.
Why not just brown all the way through? He's got, like, this little band.
Golly.
I know. You think as you move your arm, how much movement can you get out of those things? Like, if you flex your arm a different way, is it going to slide off, or is it going to restrict your movement? It's impractical.
But cute.
I don't know if it was always this way, but they started, it might have been after this era even, but they kind of started depicting Juggernaut where, like, once he starts moving, his powers say like nothing can actually stop him unless he wants to be stopped.
Right.
So it really makes Venom seem outclassed. He's just whooping on Venom. And mostly something that kind of differentiates Venom from Spider-Man is, I noticed Venom takes a lot of punishment, but he's always like making a wisecrack while he's getting beaten up, rather than just joking around while he's dishing it out. I don't know, maybe Spider-Man does that too, but it was something when I was reading these pages and he's getting smacked around. Oh, stop, that tickles. You know, he's always got like a sarcastic, like, did you call me sweetheart, even though his face is getting pounded? That's one of my favorite panels, I think. I think the lines really sell it.
He's like hitting him with a telephone pole.
Yeah, the trunk of a telephone pole, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Smashing his face right into the ground. I used to try to, when I was a kid and I tried drawing, I used to love drawing little weird, edgy spirals that weren't very spaced very well like that. I remember trying to draw stuff like this. I definitely tried to draw heroes and villains with the similar proportions to this, where they just like have super big muscles.
You were drawing superheroes when you could barely hold a pencil.
It was too bad I didn't try to draw more conventional things, because I think it would have been easier to get better at drawing. But I really wanted to draw this kind of stylized stuff. Mm-hmm. A lot of my one qualm is a lot of the backgrounds. I do like this twisted background, but some of them are a little more bland. They're just a little... It's like you couldn't even put a building behind them or something. It doesn't give you a sense of place. Like, did they leave the law office? I guess he knocks him out the window. And we get a little bit of the city street, but I guess that deadline was coming up, so they turned out a couple of those pages without a background.
But this gives you a lot of motion, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's
dynamic.
a very dynamic scene, yeah.
Whack. And his head is so small. Look at his shoulders.
I know. He looks like an evil, like, kid toy.
Yes.
Or, you know, like some weird
That would
thing.
actually be a great expression if they could represent that on an action figure or something. It would really make him look menacing to have it be dark like that somehow. He's in shadow under his helmet. And more of those side muscles. They really like drawing these little like micro pecs on their side.
I know.
It's really weird.
It's almost like scales,
like,
fish scales.
Yeah.
I like it though. I mean, I don't know that I would...
I'm glad it
enjoy
exists. Some of it's better than others.
Reading
in this
like
style.
days worth of that, because I really do love the old drawings. But like Steve Ditko, he's the man.
Yeah.
So I don't.
But I'm glad it exists as a contrast. I mean, if everything's trying to be one house style or something, it can get bland. You know, I'm glad that there's such a variety. Those little eyes.
Yes, he looks
I don't want
crazy.
to skip ahead too much here. This darn paper is proving a little difficult to turn. Oh, I almost had it too.
Rip.
His little stubby little feet,
Ew.
giant thighs. Okay, so they go into the underground. Venom's like where he wants to protect. He's the lethal protector of this underground city. And suddenly, something's calling out to him. This blood-looking stuff. That kind of reminds me of the movie The Thing, where that alien, the blood, is like animated and it creeps towards people. I like that. And I like some of these expressions are really dark and twisted. His teeth are blue somehow. They forgot to
He looks like an
color
evil gingerbread man.
Juggernaut.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
You better. You do now.
It's crazy.
I like when they add the pink to his gums. You can see the pink. That's a nice contrast. It helps divide the many, many teeth from his noseless face.
Yeah.
But yeah, they forgot to make the teeth. I guess it's just the shadowing, but it looks like a mistake to me. And yeah, it's a pretty one-sided fight. I like when they make his tongue jag. I used to draw that in little notebooks or doodle in class and try to make Venom with like a really crazy-looking tongue, almost like a flame or something.
In some comics, didn't they make it like super long?
Oh yeah, it can be super exaggerated in some of the depictions. I do like the detail on these little stalagmites and stalactites. There's like a skull over there. I like the little lines.
Cool.
And I like this background. And Juggernaut just wallops Venom right into the pool that's been calling out to him, and he's smiling all the way. That's one thing they have to do with these badass characters is like even when they're getting beat up, they're happy to be taking it. Like, they can't. It doesn't even perturb them to be killed. They're so badass, and he starts sinking in. He's like, "Oh, I killed Venom. I didn't even have to deliver this final blow because he just slowly and awkwardly sunk into the water."
He looks like he's like made out of goo on the inside, doesn't he? He's got a really high voice.
Yeah. He looks demented.
Oh my god. Yeah. That's crazy.
But meanwhile, this viral chemical living mercury is now bonding with the symbiote, and it's going to give him these extra mouths and stuff. Later in this series, he's got all these protruding, not only like how Carnage can manifest the weapons, and we don't see Venom do that quite as much, but he has these little chattering mouths that come up. And another thing that makes this different from what we've read, Cliff Notes, I feel like this is going for more of maybe a high school, but maybe a college audience, like an older audience.
Yeah.
Especially compared to like the Superboy. I mean, part of it's the era. I mean, Mortal Kombat. It's funny to think that this was so controversial at the time that they had, I think, when we rented it, or I probably owned it, you could go to the settings and turn the blood off.
Yes,
and just
I remember that.
They're still like pulling each other's skeletons out, but there's no blood. They're like burning each other alive, but hey, as long as there's no blood, it's not gonna... Were you worried? Were you ever worried about me playing games like that when I was a kid?
No, because I feel like we talked to you more. You know, you didn't like disappear and shut your door and, you know.
Yeah. I don't think it messed me up at all. I don't shoot that many fireballs at people.
You cut back on the fireballs. Your sister barely ever pulls your skull out of your...
Every now and then. But yeah, it's... I guess it's towards like a younger audience, but I think just the social awareness of the plot, I feel like some of these older 80s comics... They don't emphasize that. Maybe it's just this particular series, but yeah, it's like they were trying to make it more adult or something. I guess maybe that's just the nature of the Venom character, though.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like it's all marketed towards kids, I guess, but like.
No, I remember when Venom became Venom, and I kind of was like, I don't know, he's a bit much.
I know.
I had to think about, and I don't think that you really read them until you were a little bit older, too. You didn't read them when you were like 6.
I waited till I was 7. I really understood the violence. So this is 1993. I would have been 6.
You would have been 6.
Yeah. Well, in 87. Yeah. It would have been 6.
6, yep.
And maybe we got this after it came out. It says November. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I bet this was a Taurus Comics buy, if I had to guess.
Yep.
It says direct edition, so I'm not sure if that means it was sent to... It's not a subscription, but sent to like directly to the retailer or whatever. And it's a first issue. They were doing this... I've learned in hindsight from other comic podcasters, part of the reason you saw so many first issues in the 90s is they were really trying to capitalize on the collector boom. And like, they knew if it was a #1 issue that people would assume it would gain value.
I bet that this was one that Grandma bought.
Oh, really?
And brought up. Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing in relief with the light some peas and stuff. I think I probably used this as the back of when I was drawing as to make the paper firmer. I think I used this as a drawing surface. But that's what makes it special,
Oh, yeah. I mean, you buy comics because you want to read them. It's, I don't know. It's like playing with action figures. You had so many action figures that Grandma got you. That would be cruel to keep them in a box for a kid.
Oh, yeah.
You play with them.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you remember a lot of those.
Oh, yeah. I miss all my action figures. I wish I had held on to them. Partly. I mean, I hope some kid got to play with them when I think we Goodwilled a lot of them. Or Vinnie's.
Vinnie's, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to think about as an adult looking back, like how much money did all my family spend on little toys and stuff for me growing up? And it's like, what is it all? I hope they know I appreciated it. I guess is all I'm trying to say is it was really nice having all that stuff.
Yeah, that was cool. Remember how mad you'd get when Breno would go in, play with your action figures?
No. Why? I don't know why I would get so mad. We probably could have played together if I wasn't so
You were
protective
5 years
of them.
older, though.
Yeah, yeah. For a while there, it was hard to get on the same page with activities.
Remember?
When you can't even read.
I remember coming home from work and you guys were playing GoldenEye.
Really? How old was she, do you think?
Oh, God. You
'Cause
had
I don't
had
think
to
that
be
came out until
12.
I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah. And so she would have been 7. And what did you made her? You made her be Oddjob?
Yeah, because that was like the busted character that was harder to kill. That was funny.
I remember when she would kill you, you'd be like,
I'd get all butthurt about it. What the? Got killed by my little sister. I remember we played that quite a bit. I don't know if I think we eventually owned it, but we used to rent it quite a bit from Mr. Movies. And I remember one time, little Mike was babysitting us, and we played it for like hours and hours and hours and hours. But overall, I like this comic. It was a little heavy-handed with trying to be like, pollution is bad. Like, I agree with that for sure. And it's cool to see that work its way into the comic, but I'm more interested to see how much it mutates Venom than I am to like
how they fix the issue.
It. Yeah, because it's like, in real life they'll never resolve stuff like that. We don't have Venom.
We need Venom.
We need Venom to clean up the environment. And I really like the pairing of Juggernaut and Venom. I think that's an interesting villain for Venom because he seems way more powerful than Venom.
Oh yeah.
So Venom can't just go with brute force maybe. I probably he does, given how muscle bound everybody is. I seem to remember him getting even stronger because of that chemical.
Who would win?
I've got the rest of these downstairs, the rest of this miniseries. I think so.
Who would win, Juggernaut or the Hulk?
Oh, Hulk, I think.
Yeah.
Because if he gets mad enough, he'll get strong enough to...
He just jumped to the moon.
Yeah, well, even if he can't physically stop Juggernaut because of the magic, you can work around that and still, like, move out of the way and then punch him in his little feet or something. Stomp on his little pointy feet. Sometimes the eye holes are way bigger. It's like... Did you shave your eyebrows, Juggernaut? Are those his eyebrows, or is that just the bone, like the eye socket?
He's got hooded eyes.
Weird guy. All right.
Okay.
Amethyst.
So this is Amethyst. And I'm pretty sure that you've never read an Amethyst comic book. I was so excited when I saw this, even though...
I love unicorns. Pegasi, I guess.
Even though it's book 6 out of 12. But
you get the boring stuff out of the way. You jump right into the action.
Right into the thick of things. No,
I like this cover, though. The purple really pops. And I like all this red stuff really makes it eye-catching.
It's a great book. This book made me interested in rocks, in gems, in the whole myth of the whole, rocks and crystals and gems. And it's really super cool. Well, yeah, he's what is it? A unicorn? Pegasus?
Pegacorn. I think that's the species. So this is from 1983 as well?
This is also, it's number 6, October from 1983. I don't know, I'm stuck on 83. Remember Q*bert? That was hard.
I don't remember Q*bert. It looks familiar, but I don't know if I ever got to play it. I think I just know it from the ads.
I think we had it, but it was on one of those discs. It was like 3 old
classic
games, classic
games.
stuff.
They repackaged them for like PlayStation and
Because
stuff.
I think Breno was pretty good at Q*bert. It was,
really?
It was too stressful for me.
What stressful? Was it this guy?
It was that guy.
I could see why.
And
he's going sideways. Yeah, he's cursing. They had to bleep him out. Q*bert, watch your mouth.
Okay, so this is Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld.
I did not realize this was a DC comic, Amethyst. I always see the Amethyst in the boxes, and you're kind of right. I kind of skip. I'm like, that must be a girl's comic.
I think
I should give it a shot, though.
you really should.
I wonder if they'll ever adapt her into like a show or a movie. Or
there
anything
are
like
different
that.
adaptations of her character. Yeah.
There already are?
Yeah.
Really?
I actually, yeah. Because reading this brought back like a specific time in my youth that it just made me so curious, and it brought back so many memories. I went online to DC Fandom Wiki, and I mean, I'm looking for the other episode or issues of this because it got me excited.
Oh, I'll take a look for them too.
But anyway, the whole premise of Amethyst is that she is the princess of Gemworld. Gemworld is an interdimensional world, and it is made up of houses, 12 royal houses that correspond to gemstones. There's ruby, emerald, amethyst, dark opal, aquamarine, moonstone, sapphire, turquoise, garnet, diamond, sardonyx, and topaz.
Sardonyx?
Sardonyx.
I've never heard of that one.
I looked it up because it's an alternate birthstone to August. So your sister's either peridot or sardonyx.
Really?
But anyway, so she was the princess. Her parents were king and queen, and dark opal killed her parents. But
What month is Amethyst?
amethyst is February, I believe.
What's September?
Sapphire.
Oh, really?
So anyway, one of the like a witch, Citrinas. There's Citrine. She brings the baby, Amethyst, to this earth, this dimension, to save her from.
Okay.
And this is her parents, and they at the moment they had a baby who died, a little girl who died. So we'll get into it.
I like her
So
dad's
right
hair.
here, it's
Very
showing
spiky.
Amethyst can fly. These are her parents, and so she is taking them home. And otherwise, she can't use her powers in Earth. But
Oh, she's a kid?
she's a little kid on Earth. But when she goes to Gemworld, she becomes a young adult. And so she is there to basically kind of say goodbye to her parents. But also, she tracked another character from Gemworld to the Earth, and that's why she can use her powers for a brief moment to get them home from where they were, because some of the magic still resides.
Oh, okay.
And but when he left, the magic is diminishing, and then boom, she's back to
Magical
being.
atmosphere.
Yep, yep. So then it goes into the story.
I like this kind of border.
Yeah,
is that
isn't that
from
cool?
her backstory, what they're talking about in these panels or something?
This is from Gemworld.
That's an
That's
interesting
dark
way to do it.
sardonyx, or dark opal. I'm sorry. Yeah, these are the
What
characters.
month is Opal?
I don't know actually, or I can't remember. I read them because it opened up all the interest again. I was looking at Gemworld or American Gem Society.
Oh, this is the gem lady that rescued her?
This is Citrine, yeah. Anyway, Citrina brought her and replaced her with their baby that died at birth. And the doctor was coming in to say, oh, it's a terrible thing. And this Citrina appeared and
Switched them out?
switched babies.
What'd she do with the dead one? That's what I want to know.
And then when she left, the doctor's all, oh, where was I? Oh, good news. So
Did she use the dead baby to be like, oh,
you killed
back in Amethyst? She's
yeah,
already
back
dead.
in Gemworld. Yeah, yeah.
Yikes.
So that nobody knew that Amy, her name on Earth is Amy, that she
Amethyst?
existed. Amethyst. So anyway, she's saying goodbye to her parents because up to this point, they're under the control of Dark Opal, and he's evil. Just wait till you see how evil he is.
Her parents are?
No, Gemworld.
Oh.
So she has to go back. So they open up the interdimensional portal, and she
Kool-Aid.
is going back.
Don't
There's
forget
Case
about-
busting through.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine if everybody had to have taglines like that in real life?
I just want to know, is that the real game? You just burst through walls and say, oh, you win.
I think we had this when you were little.
Really?
I think we did.
Looks like Atari or something. It says made by Mattel Electronics. I can't tell what this
it
system
could
is.
be.
that
I
they're
can't
using.
either. That's and it's
In
connected by
television. Oh, or Atari 20. I didn't see that. Okay. I don't think I ever tried it in television.
No. But yeah, that's crazy. And Return of the Jedi.
Those are cool.
Those are very cool.
I always like these TIE fighters. The TIE Interceptors have the little gap in the wings, and then they have the forward-facing wings. I like those. I like the speeder bike.
I like the speeder bikes, yeah.
That would be fun to ride.
But she comes running back. She's like, I'll be back. He's like, don't make promises.
I like the way they draw the portal. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It makes it seem like another dimension because it doesn't fit the style or the color of everything around it. It really pops out.
And it's kind of faceted. Like gems are cut faceted. It's cool. So she goes back, and this is Citrina. And so she's only been gone for a couple days. Or what did she say?
Is she like a little kid trapped in an adult
or a few
body?
hours.
Or does she become like a different persona?
Yeah, she like grows up.
Oh, wow.
But it's only been a few hours that she was gone, but it's been days in Gemworld.
Oh, time passes differently between them.
Faster in Gemworld. Jeez. So she's back, and she's remembering Granch. Granch. And he happens to be one of the sons of Dark Opal, one of the children of Dark Opal. A lot of these, and they're kind of...
Those are his children?
Uh-huh. And
that's crazy.
they've all kind of got things wrong with them, like...
You don't say.
They're something, yeah.
I like this beast he's riding. That's
I
cool.
know.
Okay.
They're like riding dinosaurs and stuff. So anyway, she's worried about him. And Citrina's like, it's not time for you to go. They are going to Dark Opal to make a stand. And she wants to join him, but they convince her she needs to stay and train. And of course, she's perfect at everything.
I like the way they draw her little wrist thing, the curly Q.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Carry over to her uniform. And,
makes it look more ornate and textured.
So she's just a natural at all things weaponry and look at riding chickens.
She's got a fish in her bed or something.
It's really bizarre. So anyway, she wakes up at dawn.
Chicken dinosaurs or something.
I know, a poor chicken.
I like the design of those.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's just
these little goblin-looking guys.
It's really cool. And she has some magic too. It's a world of magic, and so yeah.
I remember
really
this
cool.
ad used to freak me out a little bit when I was a kid. I didn't like this ad. It was creepy to me for some reason.
Because a toy shop?
Feet. No, I think it's the feet and the footprints, and just not be able to see the creature holding it out. And I don't know. It didn't like terrify me, but it was a little unnerving for some reason.
I remember TSR hobbies.
What was it? It sounds familiar.
Yeah. I wonder if they're still open.
Wisconsin? Like Geneva?
Cambridge, England.
Oh, wow. They're multinational.
So anyway,
his building has a big mouth on it?
Yeah, Fortress Opal.
That's his face?
That's his fortress. And these are his children. And like he's
one of the children, right? This is the Opal guy?
That's Dark Opal.
He's all striped.
I know.
That's a cool design, though.
He's something, man.
He's the zebra man. He's like if Nightcrawler crossed with a zebra.
Ooh. And this is, is that Sardonyx, maybe? This guy? What are they? I was reading, anyway. So
this little cape thing has a face on it. It looks like it's sticking its tongue out.
Look how they go from his face and then to his face and then his face.
I like that.
It's really cool. But his kids all come together to face him.
Oh, they don't like him? They're opposing him?
Well, there's something, I can't remember exactly, but there's something about Dark Opal that all his children have something fundamentally wrong.
Hate,
Yeah.
Opal place. Father hurt us.
Like she's like gone, I don't remember.
Yeah, it seems
but
like
he is, just wait till you see the depths that he goes
his
to.
arm's too short to reach. They're all like, we'll join hands.
Wait, I've got the lance. And so his sister, who is her, my sister's magic is unhinged by the nullifying spell it churns without ceasing in her addled mind.
Yikes.
So anyway, they they
Ooh,
get
there's
in.
blood in this.
Yeah,
Dang.
they get
It's kind of
in.
a hardcore comic. Look
And
at this
they,
bloody
yeah,
nose.
they actually kill a lot of his people defending, and but they do suffer losses too.
Ooh, got a couple
Look at
darts in
this
them.
guy, no, and it's down to Dark Opal with a couple of his loyal accomplices. So
That's cool.
then they're down to these three children, the addle-minded one. And this guy, I don't remember what his deal is, but he's like a big, But so Dark Opal is what does he say? You have bested my elite guards, Granch, and with a savagery that betrays your bloodline. And he goes, I am your son. It's true. But they hate him. They hate him. So now it's down to them fighting. And then we cut back to Amethyst.
Ooh, I like this dark.
Yeah. And this guy shows up. He is like, I, Lord Garnet of the Stormy Peaks, warrior king, and once your father's master. And she gets pissed off. And then Citrina's like, no. And he's like, you have your father's temper and your mother's charm. So that's Lord Garnet of the house Garnet. And he's coming to train her. He wasn't the master, like, overlord of her dad. It was like his teacher.
Oh, okay.
And he brings her.
He's got faces on his little toady thing.
Yeah, I think everybody, I don't see it on Amethyst, but I think everybody has some sort of little
What's he teach her how to
token.
do? Fly the
He
the
brings
horse?
her steed.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, this is cool. I
That's
like
great
there was
art.
I love this. It's like the wings that felt so gentle down below are bracing gusts here in the sky. They seem to blow the sun itself along its course, but Amethyst minds them not. I love it. And so they talk a bit, and they talk about how Prince Topaz, I believe it is
Lady Sapphire
yeah.
and young Prince Topaz.
are going to get married. And so they're making plans that Amethyst is going to make her appearance as an uninvited guest to that wedding. And then we're back to the battle at
they
Dark.
killed that.
Yeah,
Sovereign-looking
this gets really dark because they go
They have
back and
guns
forth.
in the Gemworld.
They have one gun,
A
and
single gun?
and they even say, "Oh, this is rough." For something that looks like a girl's comic, this gets dark and just like what do you say? You presume too much, boy, to challenge me here and in this manner. I'm your father. I am Dark Opal. You are the Lord of hell and misery, and you will pay for your villainy and kind. And she's like, pay. And he's like, oh, shut up, girl. And he shoots the big guy, her brother.
I like that drawing, though.
There's a lot of expression in his eyes.
Yeah, a lot of these character designs I like a
Ooh.
lot. The facial expressions, you can tell they put work into giving them some personality. Compared to some of those Venom background faces, not a lot of detail and stylized.
Yeah. And he's like, your blabbering is almost as annoying as the sight of that fat, stupid face. And Grant is like, brother, that's...
Jeez.
And then...
Rude.
Yeah, and then it goes back and forth. And they're like, if only Amethyst were here, she knows about those earth weapons. And look at them.
Jeez. Oh, but looks like they break
There's
the
magic,
weapon
yeah.
finally.
His sister, there's something to do with her magic and being out of control and how she can, it helps the others with their magic. And so she does.
Like this stuff around their heads, these little shapes and stuff. That's cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of artistry, I think, in this book, too.
Gorf. You ever play Gorf? Heard of Donkey Kong? What is that?
Wizard of War.
Carnival.
Zaxxon.
I played that. Frogger. I've never heard of Wizard of War or Gorf or Carnival.
No.
Oh, that's cool. They had, I think it was blue last time, and now they have a pink kind of backdrop. That's cool.
Yeah. And so, oh yeah, you
Did we
missed
skip
it.
a page?
You missed it. So she,
Knocks out the guy with the... Oh, there's horns under his hat.
I know, but look at his sword.
Oh,
He kills her.
damn.
Yeah.
She was the troubled one.
Yeah. But she was tortured. She,
Yeah.
that's gore, And then your comrades are dead. Mine are finished for this battle, at least. It's like, comrades, those are his kids.
Yikes.
Just you and I remain. And so they start wrestling. And Dark Opal's like, I need no sorcery to defeat you, Grunch. And he's like, I'll kill you with my bare hands. His own kid. I mean,
Jeez, what
this
a
is just
jerk.
really dark. And so they wrestle back and forth, and Grunch actually gets advantage. Oh, he's
That's a
got
cool
on his,
sequence where he like looks up and sees that.
yeah,
Oh, that's really cool. I like that.
yeah. But then Dark Opal stands up,
Oh,
gets him,
damn.
and breaks his back.
Oh, geez.
Or at least gets him down, knocks the wind out of him. Then we transition to life at Topaz Keep. And he's being all wistful. He had met Amethyst, of course, has a love interest.
What a difference between the Venom violence, which was very cartoony. This is an intense little sequence.
It's this,
A little
yeah.
more realistic. He's strangling the guy, and the life's kind of...
You could feel it kind of
Yeah.
ebbing out of him, just kind of, yeah. And I like how the support here are
Oh, yeah.
busting just as he's like cracking his spine. It's just, so the dad comes in and says, oh, don't think of her. You've got to marry your betrothed to Lady Sapphire, who I believe is older than him.
David Crosby's in this. I knew he did a lot of things in his life. I didn't know he was an amethyst.
So, and it goes back and forth between this, loving father and
I like
son
his character
thing.
design, too. It's a very expressive face.
Yeah. So we have this, loving father-son relationship cut to this,
Good juxtaposition.
cut back. And here we have him. He's laying on the ground in
Shit.
unbearable
He's going
pain.
to kill him, isn't he? He's going to finish him off.
He goes, indeed, I think you are a true son of Opal after all.
Jeez.
He goes, never have I fought more desperately to defeat a foe. He's like, Father, my son, I salute you.
Oh.
And then
He's
the bloody
dead.
sword. And then
They all know. They
Amethyst
felt it.
wakes up. Yep. Yep.
Jeez.
Isn't that just horrific?
This is an intense little issue.
Isn't it just...
I didn't expect it to be so serious.
So it solidifies in them, what they need to do. So next, a wedding at Topaz Keep, and everyone will be there. Make sure you are too.
It's an interesting panel. So tall.
Yeah.
Could have stopped here. Probably. Maybe.
But yeah, isn't that intense?
Yeah. That's a cool way to finish it, though, because you have this long shot, and then all of a sudden you're up close and big.
Oh yeah, if this were a movie, that'd just be visually overwhelming. Yeah.
Purple Prose, that's a good name for the letters section here.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah, I would
don't know.
totally read this. I'd love to read it from the beginning to the end. I wonder if we have them
it's
all.
great
It's only 12 issues total, the
in
whole
this
tale?
maxi series. Yeah,
Oh, wow. I bet we have most,
we do
if
have
not
them all.
of
We have them all.
I'll have to read it from the beginning.
I might have them at my place because that's where I found this one.
Oh, wow. Spoiler about Grunch.
Yeah,
He's dead.
but it's interesting because they personify all of the gems, and it really. I mean, for
Who
a
does
long
the
time.
pencils? I really like the art in this. Gary Cone.
Oh yeah, I didn't
maybe.
mention the.
Ernie Colon. Yeah, I guess writers, artists, and co-creators. So, Dan Mishkin is the writer. Yeah,
Dan
this is a cool
Mishkin.
series. You said it was adapted before?
I was reading on
they were
DC Wiki
planning
fandom that there have been different iterations of her. And I think this is the one that I'm most familiar with. I'm remembering back a lot. And I'm really inspired to read it again. It's great. but yeah, it really like made this whole lore of things like stones, you know?
Yeah.
It's really
That's
really
a cool theme.
It's but I could totally tell, you know, and understand that looking at the cover, that's not going to pull in very many boys.
Yeah, maybe it
But,
wasn't meant to, though. You know, they just.
It's good writing,
I
you
think
know?
if they gave it a chance, though, it's like a lot of other fantasy stuff, it seems like. It's not
Yeah.
overly girly or anything.
No, I mean, it's,
I think especially this era, though, it was like things were either a boy comic or a girl comic.
Yeah.
It wasn't, they thought of audience differently.
but it's particularly vicious.
I was surprised at how intense the violence was. Less over the top bashing superheroes across the street and more like personal murder.
Yeah,
Up
yeah.
close and personal.
I mean, it almost reads like a movie in my head when I was reading it. It was like,
The
oh,
pacing, yeah.
and yeah, the writing was very good, very good. I think it's a very underrated comic. It's great.
I agree. From what I've seen, I'd like to read more of them.
So there we
Cool.
have it.